So, let's get into it. So, what did I do? I don't even know myself, so let's look at this. I only made this like 2 days ago during school. And if you haven't heard the song, you can check it out real quick. I might put a link, or just it's the last video I made on this channel. And I will not be playing the song in its entirety or anything really. I'll just be explaining really quickly, but in detail, what I did. So for starters, the intro. This is where the song began and then immediately stopped. I made this little bit right here and then stopped and focus on the drop. So this is where the song started, right here. That was literally it. And then I went to the drop immediately. I simply took that little hit in the song because, it's kind of the iconic hit. And I wanted to start it off with that. And I wanted it to do that, like, echoey thing where it's like da 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 dun 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 dun. It's like kind of offbeat. Or not offbeat, but a polyrhythm? Or is it polymeter? I think it's polyrhythm. Regardless, a dotted note, at least, reverb, echo kind of thing. And I did that. So for the rest of the intro, I put the original song kind of like the first bit where it's not really full. And I changed it up just a little bit. I didn't want to put too many effects on it. I was just making it... actually, this is the quiet part, and then it routes itself to this. So, like that. It's actually quite full and loud, kind of. It's still, like, missing elements in the frequencies, but it feels like, it's not just, like, 2 instruments or something. So what I did here was I basically boosted it because when I sent it through this bus by itself, it kind of lost that semi-fullness and just became flat. So this is just boosting and a little bit of lo-fi to give it some texture, which kind of clashes with the lo-fi here, which gives it a nice sound. And the isotope vinyl clashes with it as well. And I turned the warp up on this guy to give it that weird, like, detuney kind of sound. I liked it. Without it, with it, it definitely just has a whole new vibe. Then after 2 of those, I have it play the more full part. Below that, I have some drums. Not much going on here, just a kick and snare, side chaining the instruments, and some recorded hi-hats that sound god-awful by themselves. So basically, the one hi-hat in here that's like kind of carrying on, I just hit one note, the C5. The other ones, I hit the drum pads on my MIDI keyboard, and they just pitched it all weird and stuff, so that was kind of cool. And then we have a kick and a snare. The snare has reverb on it, but it's very small. It's like nice and wide and roomy, kind of, like it's not like a very mono reverb, but the decay is down. So it's like this big, and you expect it to like be longer reverb, and then it kind of cuts, which is kind of cool. Yeah, this is him. This is the respace. It's just a, saw, but like detuned and stuff. That's actually all it is. Yeah, just detuned unison saw with filters and then like distortion, compression, and another filter for good measure, to give it this bassy but like messy, wide kind of sound. I really like this, especially with the portamento. I love this kind of sound for bass lines. So without the filter, you get this like, ooh, nice and thick kind of sound. But with the filters on, then that thick sound is now all subby and lower. And it gives you this nice deep kind of bass. But instead of having another oscillator to beefing it out, that's just a saw wave, I decided to make it the acid wavetable and turn the wavetable position all the way up. So it sounds like it's pitched up, but technically I'm not changing the octave of it. Yeah, it definitely sounds a lot higher now. And essentially, right, we're just getting the low-end frequencies of that and this combined. The distortion is doing a little cool thing. I turned the drive up a lot, and this guy is basically giving it weird textures, and it's doing weird stuff when it pans because of the unison, and it distorts weird. But then I turned the mix down so it's not like in your face, and it's just kind of giving a little bit of texture. And then we get into the riser bit. I slapped this together very quickly in school, so most of this song, if not all, is definitely not up to par with how I make music. It's very messy. Nothing's named up in here. I apologize, but, we rushed things. I use this VR sample a lot. I love it. I had to put reverb on it and EQ out the low end, though, because it was kind of muddying up the rest of the track. So it's not that loud. but it's there. An impact here, I just took one cymatics impact and keyboard smashed, and yeah, you get a beefier sound, and then some cymatics risers. It's not really that important. Oh, nice, epic. So I took the loop here and I just kind of did this, you know, the basic, and then kind of faded it out, if that's even a word. This was a humongous mess. This is the original drop right here. If I can just solo this, you can hear this. And this is just a slowed down version of, I think, this sound, right? Like one of these sounds here. Maybe this one. No, it's one of these ones, I think. I took it from the actual song itself, the sample. As you can see, it's a consolidated, you know, clip of that sound. Regardless, I filtered it, pitched it, you know, did some cool stuff. When we listened to the whole thing, because then I consolidated it, so I had all the effects on it. So you know, it had all the filtering. I added more filtering, some surface knobs, reverb tails, pitch bending for the sub, and I also layered it with a basically the same exact thing but pitched down an octave. So this sounds like this, and this sounds like this, which is kind of cool. Layer that together, put the sub in, and you get... It is a bit too short for my taste. I might actually want to bring this envelope up, but, you know, can't really change it now. I was lazy, so I just copy and pasted the drop. I did, however, here, this guy is the original sample, but like really distorted and compressed. Did it here as well, but it's just the first bit. And the reason for that is because this bass sound is just this first bit, but duplicated and then filtered and stuff like the last one. And here I accidentally stretched it, and it sounded cool. And then I accidentally pitched it all the way up, like 12 semitones, and that sounded cool. So this little bit, these bits were a huge accident, but thank God I made them because they sound a little something like this. Yeah, kind of really cool. I think this drop is a bit too messy for my taste, but, you know, kind of worked. And I do like how this is less plucky, and you can definitely, you have more envelope here, which is nice. Reverb tails, pitch bend for the sub. The drums change up a wee bit. We have a heavy snare here, and it's more of a dubstep. This is more of like a rhythm-esque kind of beat, and this is definitely a dubstep kind of beat, which is nice to have in a dubstep song. And then we go into the intro again, but it's an outro this time. And yeah, I basically just copied the pattern from the heavy like drop here, heavy drop, but with the original kick and snare from the intro. Even the hi-hats are there, and the crash and everything. I added the Moog toms in for a little bit of spice. And I'm semi-copying this, but kind of in the other direction. So we start with this sample, and it's the full one, and then we go into this guy. And this is just, I got lazy here, and I wanted it to be louder, so I just kept it going to the bass bus, so that's going to the drop bass bus, and that's why it's so loud and compressed. But it's being sidechained, so, you know, it fits. And then we have this guy goes into this guy again, and this guy hits and hits, and then it ends. Kind of do wish I did more with this song, but, you know, I rushed it, put it out, oops. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Tell me why or don't. I don't really care. I hope you guys have a good day or a good night or a good afternoon. And yeah, that just about covers it. Stay hydrated, you nasty mother...